What's up, guys? Jonathan and Jeremy here, and we're playing more Final Fantasy XI. And this is our post-commentary video for Sinister Reign Duo.
We have the trio one, so we attempted a duo.
Yep. Going down in the difficulties.
Yep.
We tried trio, or we did trio, I mean. Now
Yeah.
it's like duo, because we lost a member. So he not play anymore. So now we're down.
August is as good.
So now we're down to duo.
That's always been the joke
Yeah,
here, like,
he
just use trust.
So always joked that like you can just use a trust. And now we're trying that theory.
But even then, like, lots of people, like, we knew that was just, like, you mentioned, like, you could just use trust, maybe, like, no way, like, because they aren't, like, they do die in this.
Yes.
But
well, they're certainly nowhere near as good. But if
Is it
you're
real-
good enough, like you can, work around them. They're better than like nothing, sort of thing. But
Yeah.
there's certainly nothing.
Their function in this duo is pretty much just to buy us time
Yep.
to, like, do stuff. And then when they die, either, like, the lizard becomes the tank or I become the tank, like.
This whole game is just having to distract them for a second while the other person like sorts himself out and stuff.
Ingrid, like, lots of the first enemies in Sinister Reign are pretty easy. The hardest one being RCL, because she comes with
They want to
flower
ease
print.
you into it.
She's probably the next hardest one, because from a scholar's standpoint, she can heal Helix, so you might have to cast it again. And the cat one being the easiest, is the all-around one, because he does no damage to me and he takes
Yeah, I don't know why he
heaps
does
of
no
magic
damage to you.
damage.
He does heaps of damage to me.
But she actually can do lots of damage, and she gets health back from one of her abilities. She kind of like drains health from it.
So we should say Jeremy's Scholar and I'm Beastmaster. So that's like the usual duo combo.
It's a very strong, because Beast can just keep making fire skill chains for me to magic burst.
And there goes one of the trusts already.
See, she ruthlessness, and it drained like 14,000
Really?
HP. And yeah, like,
Oh, they're 1,400.
yeah. And since I don't have to use charges to make this skill chain myself, I can use like fast cast and magic
So it's Patrick tanky now.
to go fast, as fast as you can make skill chains.
Well, that's the thing that makes it such a good combo, because Scholar can do so much damage on magic bursts, and Beastmaster can, well, a decent Beastmaster can keep like spamming, like, and making the skill chains.
The only tricky bit is knowing when you're doing it.
Yeah, I know,
and
it's
stuff.
because he's like amnesiaed and all like something. That's why I kept running in like that. And it's like not working, and then I run out because it's, there's something that's stopping it, like it cannot do that right now.
It would be good if I got hate here, though, because she doesn't really do any damage to me, though. So I think that's why I just did a fire 5 there to get some hate. So it's better me tanking it than your pet that's like...
Well, you can see me trying to like going in, and there it is. No, I retreated now.
But yeah, because it's kind of like she does a advanced like Hexter strike, I think, that she can kind of do a surprising amount of damage.
It's like that person on the what's her face, the one that in the
But just like the end dragon, like, she does, her nukes are not threatening because it's just white.
I must have pulled
divine
Patrick back
nukes.
to like heal and safety.
Yeah.
Like you give him a cookie like from far away.
And now she should.
What was that?
I don't know.
An error.
It was like a
occurred.
ghost. It just like went off, I guess.
You got a fright instead.
And the Helix will be killing her.
Oh.
She took out Patrick though.
Right at the end, because she did ruthlessness.
And the trick with trust in Sinister Reign is, once one dies, you've got time to like cast, because you've lost hate. So normally you can't cast when you've got hate, but in between there's no hate generated, but you got to be pretty quick.
So,
Because you've still got time as the enemy spawns as well, but as soon as they auto aggro, like, that's time up. So if you had to like refresh all of your trusts.
So for a low man strat, that's very important to know. That use that time like if someone had no MP to quickly like get them away
you
and
can just
resummon.
refresh like your whole like trust team pretty much.
But you got to be quick.
And moving on to tier 2 enemies of Sinister Reign, like they're kind of tricky for scholars. Because the trick with like Lowman and Scholar is Helix can just kill them all.
Yeah.
But tier 2 is when it starts getting tricky because all the tier 2s heal Helix. And this is the worst one. What she can do is she can heal Helix and then put Helix onto players. So I remember one time I was doing it with Trust and I hit a Helix like on her and it was just like she did a TP and then everyone just started like randomly dropping dead. And it was just like, what's happening?
That's how powerful Helix is on a
And it remembers I'm pretty sure it remembers the time off, so it's like 9 seconds before the tick. It goes on like the time, so it's like if she did it at 8, you just instantly die. So it would tick to 9 and then everyone ticks and like dies.
I really hate this about Beast, how it's like, because Lizzie has like hate on the main one. It keeps, I'm trying to attack the flower, but the lizard wants to keep attacking the main one, and I have to keep telling it, no, the flower, and it's like, Square Enix are like, they're wild creatures, you can't control them. Like, that's literally the excuse that they gave. Well, not the excuse, but the reason.
I was waiting to like magic burst, but then I just start, because I see your pet, so I just start
bound, and my pet's just not listening, and I don't have enough badges, obviously, for like, the lizard to like... The whole point they're beast masters, and it's just like, surely I'm like, listen to me. Like, Summoner doesn't have that problem. It's only like this wild pet thing. It's so frustrating.
So since she can't be Helix, like we have to rely on like Fire 5, but lucky she doesn't have as much HP. The main tricky thing once you lose your tank is you discover she casts a very powerful Petrify.
It's so annoying.
In solo and stuff, it can land for like 2 minutes.
Well, everyone knows
a resisted Petrify is 40 seconds, and her full one is like 2 minutes.
That's terrible.
And like on the pet, that's terrible because like
I can't do anything.
At least when you've got the trust out, they can cast like she doesn't. That's one thing, she doesn't cast AOE Petrify, but it's such a powerful single target one. The broken thing about... I was going to
say, you're not engaged, you know, the trust don't do anything.
The broken thing about mob petrifiers, like your one, when you cast it, breaks like bind.
Yeah.
But monster ones never break when they do a certain amount of damage. Like
it's just...
It just lasts the
duration. It's
always
been like the Bane, and this is, you know...
It says 1 minute, but that's because it's like... It was just under 2 minutes, so it's like 1 minute plus. It doesn't show the second times on the timer thing.
And the trusts are going down. So they're not too helpful in this one.
I think he survives to get me like unpetrified. I think he's just like silenced or something at the moment. Oh no, I'm not even engaged, but he is like bound and like silenced.
You haven't hit like her yet because you've been bound and petrified. Look at this crap. This break is ridiculous. So we weren't enjoying it. Like, I'm pretty sure that pet's been the original the lizard has been petrified that first one this whole time.
Like I said, it's pretty much
ridiculous.
Just under 2 minutes, like petrify, and she likes to spam it.
I should have unleashed her or something just because it's so annoying. Oh look, he's unpetrified. Yeah.
Even with like bar stone and stuff, it still does so much. Like I said, a resisted one that I've seen is just 40 seconds long. Like. But you can see her HP like dropping pretty quickly. Like if a Helix, it would be no problem if Helix was on, because she would just die while you're standing there. But since she does that next trick, and that's what I was saying, T2s are more the tricky if you're going Scholar, because all of them heal Helix at like certain percentages. So you have to cast Helix multiple times. You can't just single Helix and then just survive while they die. And luckily for tier 3 ones, they kind of stopped doing it. August and, or all 3 of them can, but they don't do it as often. They don't do it at intervals. Like, they don't do it at like 60% and 80%, like the T2 ones seem to do. They just, if they happen to do it, like they do it. If they pick like their TP to be the heal move.
no. Now I am. Like, as soon as you ask me if I'm bound or not.
Did he get in range?
Get in range.
Oh, here we go again. But your Yoran is like alive now, so he's able to get rid of that off me. This is what happens when you don't have it. If you have a white mage that getting rid of it, then it's like, unless the white mage gets petrified, like it shows how bad it is if you don't have someone like healing it.
At least like nowadays, like the only thing I say is like with Petrify, it used to be such a mystery, like you didn't know like when it was going to wear off. It just felt like it was forever, and, you know, you just had no clue.
That's one thing the timer things add, like not only your durations, like the enemy durations.
But can you believe like you used to play without it though, like not knowing when silence and stuff was going to wear off, and you're just helpless, like. Oh, that's like, I can't even imagine, like, I can't even remember playing without it. It's just so helpful.
So yeah, we're finally dishing the damage in it.
At 20,000.
She's like, oh no.
Uh-oh. Use fire type against it. I should have just petrified them some more.
If only I had AoE petrify, then she'd be really strong. But yes, it's like, if you're solo and stuff in this, it's a horrible nightmare because the flowers are alive and she does break, and it's just like,
what a mess.
No, you just sit there for like ever.
But that's the thing you have to remember. We duo in this. It's like you're meant to be. Like you say, if you had a white mage, it would be easier. If you had this,
as long as the white mage doesn't get hit, it's like simple.
But that's what happens when you duo content, I guess it's made for.
And you see how far, like, that's pretty much your only thing stopping us. And then moving on to tier 3, RCL, she's probably like the strongest of the tier 3 in my opinion. Which August is second, and then the dragon, like the joke dragons, like, laugh. I don't even know what to do. He's like the weakest, one of the weakest enemies in the whole thing.
God dragon guy, for some reason, is the weakest one. Of course, the August should be the toughest, but
the thing about her being the strongest is her hands. So at the moment, she's got like the white hands, which means like you pretty much can't land any enfeebles on her.
Yeah.
But nukes do like decent damage. You can still do lower damage without like good magic accuracy and stuff, or just randomly do. But that's the time when nukes hurt her white hands. When she changes to her like dark hands, nukes don't work on her anymore, but you can land enfeebles. And I landed a pretty decent helix on her, and it's like she healed it. Well, she just randomly did it, like, of course.
So the other thing is that we don't really mention. It's like we don't. Like, you can, this would be a lot easier if, like, you know, I used Unleash or something.
Yeah.
But we try and do it without 2 hours, because then you know it's...
You still call 1 hour, you still call it 2 hours.
Yeah, 1 hour, whatever it is. It's always 2 hours. It's always a 2 hour. It will always be a 2 hour to me. But it shows, you know, if you can do it without it, that if you use it with it, then it'll be even easier. So I don't like to rely on that all the time, because then you can only do it once an hour, sort of thing.
Unless you're master.
Yeah, once every 45 minutes. Unless you got dim stars above your name.
As you can see, I'm mentioning another feature of why she's one of the strongest, because just like that move that summoned the giant bee, she can summon all all those monsters, and the shark, it's just instant KO if you're not standing in the right place.
Well, that you see there what your advice was, but like by the time
it's pretty, you know, like left.
By the time I see it though, it's just like
when you see the
it's too late.
You'll see that, like, when I see it, I'm in the middle of casting, and I'm like, oh god, if you get white, pretty much it's over. Like, I remember one time I was doing it with a group of people, and it's like everyone else got hit by it, but just because I didn't get hit by it, we were able to like recover.
That's pretty good. But aren't all the other ones like get away from them?
Yeah.
But that one's like, get closer.
This is the trick to them, other than the shark.
You never know what one it's going to be. Like, you don't want to be in range for this sort of stuff. But by the time the shark appears, you're sort of like, it's too late.
The shark's like, unless he's on the opposite side of the arena, his AoE is pretty much the whole circle of this area.
That's so weird.
He has to be on the edge for it to be safe on the opposite side of the... If he's in the center, like, the only safe place is the center. It's so like a 20 yams or whatever. Like.
So, yams and those things. People always say that. I'm just like, what?
But yeah, like, the joke thing about this move is, I'm pretty sure the monster goes to... See the shark now.
The shark, and I'm just like,
I was casting fire too there, and I was
what do I do?
That delayed. But you get, when you see shark, you gotta hug him. You gotta hug the shark.
That makes no sense. I just panic, and I'm just like, get away from it. And I'm like, wait, no, I need to go close to it.
Yeah, and lucky she doesn't heal like that helix. She hasn't healed that helix again, so she's just constantly dying to it.
The club school.
But yeah, this is what I'm talking about. I'm pretty sure the monsters go to where your position when she did it. So look, I ran away from the bee, and he hits where I was. Like, look at him, like, where did he go?
That's so dumb.
Like, I flashed him, like, away from him. But I'm pretty sure that's how it works. But other than the shark, like,
that's so silly.
So if you're doing it low, man,
because I was on like 84 HP.
Yeah,
HP.
Well, I was tanking. It was fine, me tanky, but it was like, oh.
Because I need to run in and tell my pet what to do, but I'm just like, if I get hit by one thing,
so she's got dark hands, so I can't nuke her, but your pet's doing enough damage, and
I'm like, cure me. I remember being really like, should I run in or just wait? Because because
if we waited for light hands, I could have just nuked as well off the pet, but
she's so close. I'm just like, just kill her. Like, that's what I'm like, just kill her.
But yeah, the helix and your pet just doing enough damage.
I got hit. And it's like, if you hadn't cured me before, I would have died. But yes, she was low enough for Lizzie just to...
And then the thump, as she... Boom.
It just
I saw it like clearly as, and I was like trying to like think what to type for ages. The hardest...
She was trying to spam cool bees, but died before.
But yeah, it was real funny because it was just like, I'm gonna summon, and thump. like the headbutt of the lizard. Just
interrupted the summoning.
That headbutt. So that was our duo of Sinister Reign, which...
So success